Shalom Lechem.
Shabbat Shalom Lecha.
Give thanks to Yah for a Shabbat day. The Brotherhood can show up in full force as our sisters relax and relate on their retreat. Thank Yah for our sisters and our daughters who are in the house today. We ask that we would be blessed to hear that our families are reunited in safety and in peace. We also ask that the Creator would be with us as we face our holy land in all of our locations, and ask Him to rise and protect us all as we pray the Kumah.
Kumah Yehovah, ve'afusu oevecha, ve'anusu misanecha mipanecha. Kumah Yehovah, ve'afusu oevecha, ve'anusu misanecha mipanecha. Kumah Yehovah, ve'afusu oevecha, ve'anusu misanecha mipanecha.
We ask you to rise, O Yehovah, and let thine enemies be scattered, and let them that hate thee flee from before thee. Rise up, O Yah, and let thine enemies be scattered, and let them that hate thee flee from before thee. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Baruch
Yehovah Baboquer, Baruch Yehovah Besoharaim, Baruch Yehovah Be'erev, Baruch Yehovah Belayla, Baruch Yehovah Yom Yom, Baruch Yehovah Tamid, Yehovah Eloheinu B'vav B'sham, Lishloach lanu lekol devarim ra'im she'asinu lefanecha Yom Yom, ve'liot imanu kol hayom hazeh, למען שמך יהוה, אלוהי אברהם, יצחק וישראל, אלוהי אבותינו ואלי, לשמוע בקול עינה, אם תרצה אותך, למען שמך יהוה.
Hallelujah.
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 Hi, Yah.
Hi, Yah.
Hi, Yah.
Hi, Yah.
Hi, Yah.
Hi, Yah.
Selah. And we say, as Yehovah lives, by saying, Hi, Yah. We face the front. Give thanks again to Yah that we have reached even the middle of the book of Shemot, where we now receive the words directly from the Creator. After learning about Aviv, and after understanding the holy days, now comes the commandments, the day-to-day principles for living in the parasha we call Parashat Yithro. Let's give praise to Yah for the Shabbat of Shabbat Yithro with the song Zeirah Shabbat. Zeirah Shabbat, Sameach Ani, Zeirah Shabbat, Sameach Ani, Zeirah Shabbat, Sameach Ani, Ani Roeh Hayom Shel Hashem. Zeirah Yomachol, Sameach Ani, Zeirah Yomachol, Sameach Ani, Zeirah Yomachol, Sameach Ani, Ani Roeh Hayom Shel Hashem. Yitro Shabbat, Kol Yomim, Yitro Shabbat, Kol Yomim, Hallelujah, אשרי האיש אשר לא הלך בעשת רשעים,
Amen.
ובדרך חטאים לא עמד, ובמשב לשים לא ישב. כי אם בתורת יה חפצו, ובתורתו יגה יומם ולילה.
Amen.
והיה כאש שתול על פגי מים, אשר פריו ייתן בריתו, ועליהו לא ייבול וכל אשר יעשה יצליח.
Amen.
Yeah, how happy is the man who does not walk in the way of the wicked, or stand in the way of sinners, or sit in the seat of scorners, but whose delight is in the Torah of yours, O Yah, which was revealed in this portion. And in his Torah does he meditate day and night. And you said that we would be like a tree that's planted by streams of living water, whose leaves don't wither, and whose branches do not fade, and everything that we do would be successful. We thank you, O Yah, for the revelation of your Torah, the Ma'amad Har Sinai, the standing at Har Sinai, the Sinai experience that we will retell and relearn this day. May it be that we are renewed in understanding the power of the fact that you spoke to our entire nation at once. No religion can claim all peoples who are to be followers of that faith heard you speak directly. You had us believe in many different things, we turned from you in believing different things. Someone said that a tomb was empty, and someone said the tomb wasn't empty, and we celebrated Easter anyway. Or someone said someone spoke to Muhammad or didn't speak to Muhammad through an angel, and we celebrated and practiced Islam anyway. But you took 603,550 men and named their family trees for us, so we can prove and know that you alone are Yah in heaven above and on earth beneath, and that there is no other. That in the heavens you spoke through the fire, and on the earth we heard your voice. That proves that there is only one of you in all existence, O Yah. Thank you for that revelation of truth, O Yah, and for all of the things that we've done not to live up to the commandments that we will hear this day. We ask forgiveness, O Yah. We ask you would forgive us for the things that we have not done towards you, towards our parents, towards the Holy Shabbat day, even our brothers and our sisters who we have wronged, O Yah. Please strengthen us, O Yah, to have moral courage and integrity, to live by the truths of these commandments that are revealed even in this portion of Yithro. Blessed be your name, O Yah. And even as we talk about our fathers and mothers, please be with our brother Yomya and his Isha as well, as they mourn the loss of 3 very dear relatives in their lives, near one after the other. Please allow us to be a strength and encouragement to them who are new to our family, but indeed they are still our brother and our sister. Please be their rock and their shield and their comfort during this time of need. And please continue to bless our elders, Ima Yadida and even Ima Nakweva, as they are recuperating, and all of those who are, again, abroad and traveling to worship with each other in a sisterhood retreat. Please bring our wives and our sisters back safely and in peace. Blessed be your name. High and lifted up, now and forevermore. Nehalel Yah.
Hallelujah.
High Yah.
High Yah.
Selah. O Shema
Israel, Yahuwah Eloheinu, Yahuwah Eloheinu, Yahuwah Eloheinu. O Shema Israel, Yahuwah Eloheinu, Eloheinu Yahuwah Echad.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. And let us pray. Adonai Eloheinu, Lord our God who's in heaven above. We give thanks to him again for these prayers that Kohen Levi assembled, and so we say them with our whole heart and our soul as brothers and sisters together. Blessed art thou, O Yehovah, our power, and blessed be the works of thy hands. And the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the seventh day Yah finished his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day and hallowed it, because that in it he rested from all his work which Yah in creating had made. O thou who art most holy, look upon thy people in mercy. Hear thou us, O power of Abraham. Nurture us, O power of Yitzhak. Save us, we implore thee, O power of Israel. Blot us not out, O Yah, though our sins be many. Cast our evil doings into the bottomless pit, to remain forevermore. Our hope is in thee, O Yah, and without thy mercy we have not. Father of wisdom, thou dispenser of knowledge, cause our hearts to discern and our minds to retain thy law. Bless Israel to know thee as we did in the days of yore. Let the sign of Shabbat shine brightly from this thy house, and from us thy people Israel. Let our voices mingle with the hosts of heaven, as we joyfully proclaim, blessed be the name of our power, and blessed be his holy name. Amen. Shema. Shema. Yisrael. This is the day which Jehovah has made, and we will be glad and rejoice thereon. Unto thee do I lift up mine eyes, O thou that art enthroned in the heavens. Ascribe unto Jehovah the glory due unto his name. Worship Jehovah in the beauty of holiness. In thee, O God, do I take refuge. Let me never be ashamed. Thou hast given us joy in the place of sorrow. Thy truth is like a heady wine. Shout for joy, O ye children of Israel. Proclaim the name of our King, to whom the sun doth shine and the wind sing. Jehovah is our sun and shield. Who then could master us? To thee, power of our fathers, do we give honor and glory. For who is Yah besides thee? Be thou our judge, O Yah, against the ungodly nations. Save us, O our King, we beseech thee. Then shall we come passing, singing, dancing, shouting, praising, praising, good thy holy name. For thee is the fountain of light, and in thy light do we see light. Thy loving kindness, Yah, is in the heavens. Thy faithfulness reaches unto the skies. Depart from evil and do good, and dwell forevermore in peace. For Jehovah loveth justice and forsaketh not his holy ones. Hallelujah. Amen. Shema. Shema Israel.
is the power of Abraham, who did call our father from Chaldea. Art thou not he, O power of Israel? Where is the power of Yitzchak, who did bless him with the righteous Rivkah? Thou art one and the same, who knoweth him who changed Jacob's name. Thou, O Yah, will forever remain. O Yosef sojourned in Egypt, yet did all men show him favor. Thy hand, O Yah, was with him. Thou didst help Moshe and Israel against Pharaoh, who stood up the mighty Red Sea. Man dropped from heaven to sustain thy people in the wilderness. They fashioned a calf to bow down to. Yet to Israel didst thou show mercy. We give thanks unto thee, O Yah. We will tell of thy wondrous works. In Yehudah Yah is known. His name is great in Israel. His salvation is in holy mountains. We will sing of the mercies of Yahweh forever. Unto all generations will we make him to be known. Stay thou, Yah, in the midst of us, cause righteousness once more to be sown. So shall the heavens praise thy wonders, Yah, thy faithfulness in the holy assembly. Let Israel awaken the day with their praises. Glory to Yah, now and forevermore. Hallelujah. Shema, Shema, Israel.
Hallelujah.
O Yah, thou art my power. Earnestly will I seek thee. Hear my voice, merciful Father. Preserve me from mine enemies. Send out thine angels to protect me. O thou that hearest prayer, with thy mighty hand, Yah, subdue all those that hate us. Remember us in mercy, Yah, and pardon all our transgressions. Accept our power doth bless us. How could we hope to prosper unless our Creator protect us? We are as if we had not been. Stay thy hand, O death, for he doth forgive our iniquities. So will I sing praises to his name, that I may perform my vows. The dead praise not Yehovah, nay, nor any that go down to silence. Let us extol our power while we have life. Sing praises to our power while we have any being. Together we will lift up our voices and gratefully sing. Withhold not thy voice from exalting our Maker. Let young and old praise him together. Let the tribes come near and testify. Even the tribes of Israel, the mighty of Yehovah. Say among the nations, Yehovah reigneth. Thy power, Israel, over all the world.
Yes.
For Yehovah will not cast off his people, neither will he forsake his inheritance. Thy testimonies are very sure. On this becometh thy house, now, O Yah, forevermore. Hallelujah. Shema, Shema, Israel, Yahuwah.
thanks to God for the Torah, which again we celebrate its revelation this week in Parashat Yithro. And so let us sing HaTorah, which is on page 6, our whole heart, soul, and mind.
Whereby shall we return unto thee, God? For thy will be fulfilled. My life, Lord, my life, in our hearts is oh, how can we draw closer to each other in the spirit of true righteousness? Is the only way we must
Ani bo Baruch Hashem Shel Yam.
Baruch Yahovah Yom Yom, Baruch Yahovah Tamid, Ubaruch Haba Likra Torah.
Moreh ani lefanecha ya shenatan lanu et Torah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. You may be seated, sisters and daughters. All males rise for the recitation of the Torah. We will be reading Sidrah Devarim, the 10 statements, which is going to be the entirety of chapter 20 in the book of Shemuel. We're going to start with verse 1 and then we'll read the extra lines. We will again have the Maftir end at the end of the chapter, at the end of the poetic portion. Sidrah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
עוד פעם שמות פרק כ', פרק 20, chapter 20, פסוקים א' עד סוף הפרשה. מהללויה. וידבר אלוהים את כל הדברים האלה לאמור, אנוכי יהוה אלוהיך, אשר הוצאתיך מארץ מצרים מבית עבדים. לא יהיה לך אלוהים אחרים על פניי. לא תעשה לך פסל, וכל תמונה, אשר השמיים ממעל, ואשר בארץ מתחת, ואשר המים לתחת לארץ. לא תשתחווה להם ולא תעבדם, כי אנוכי יהוה אלוהיך אל פניו, פוקד עוון אבות על בנים, על בנים, על שלשים ועל ריבעים לשונאי. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
And Elohim spoke all these words, saying, I'm Jehovah thy power, who brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee a graven image, nor any manner of likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down unto them, nor serve them, for I, Jehovah thy power, am a jealous power, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me.
Abraham, Yitzchak,
V'kra'et achinu tayel b'nei bin Yisrael.
Baruch Hashem Shel Yehovah.
Baruch Yahuwah Yom Yom, Baruch Yahuwah Tamid, Ubaruch Haba Likra'et Torah.
Moreh ani lefaneka Yeholahenu, natalanu Torah.
Hallelujah.
6-8.
Ose, Kesed, La'alafim, Ohevai, Ushomre, Misotai.
That's right.
Et, Sidrah. Lo Tisa, Et Shem Yehovah Eloheka, Lashal Ki Lo, Yenakwe Yehovah, Et Asher, Yisa Et Shemo Lashal.
That's right.
Dakor Et Yom HaShabbat, the quad shell.
Hallelujah.
And showing mercy unto the 1,000th generation of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of Jehovah thy power in vain, for Jehovah will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Shabbat day to keep it holy.
Hallelujah.
Modim anachnu lach, she'ata hu Eloheinu, Elohei avotenu, Abraham, Yitzchak, ve'Yaakov le'olam va'ed.
V'kra'et achinu Nahum ben Yisrael.
Baruch Yahuwah Yom Yom, Baruch Yahuwah Tamid, Ubaruch Haba Likra'et Torah. Hallelujah.
Sheshet Yamin Ka'avo Va'asita Kal Malak Teka Wayo Ashbi'i Shabbat Vayahoa Eloheka Lo Ta'aseh Kal Malaka Ata Uvinka Uviteka Alteka Amatka Uinteka Wegerka Ashir Ish Areka Ki Sheshet Yamin Asa Yehoah Et Hashemayim Ve'et Haaretz Et Hayam Ve'et Kol Ashir Bam Ve'yanak Vayom Ashbi'i Al Kain Berak Yehoah Et Yom Hashabbat Wakwa Shehu.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the 7th day is a Shabbat unto Jehovah thy power. In it thou shalt not do any manner of work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy... Sorry. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the 7th day is a Shabbat unto Jehovah thy power. In it thou shalt not do any manner of work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days Jehovah made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested on the seventh day. Wherefore Yahweh blessed the Shabbat day and hallowed it.
Modi manat mulak she'atahu Eloheinu Elohei avotenu Abraham Yitzchak veYaakov le'olam va'ed.
נקראת אחינו חזיאל בן כהן שתמיה בן לוי בן ישראל.
Baruch Yahovah Yom Yom, Baruch Yahovah Tamid, Ubaruch Haba Likra et Torah.
Hallelujah.
Kabed et Avika wa et Imeka Ma'an, Ya'arifun, Yameka, Al Ha'adama Asher Yehovah, Eloheka Noten La, Lo Tears Up, Lo Teen Up.
Hallelujah.
Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which Jehovah thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not murder. Thou shalt not commit adultery.
Hallelujah.
Thou shalt not steal.
Betina is adultery. Okay.
Slicker?
Adultery is adultery.
Okay. No. No. Okay.
Come see please, brother. Oh. Okay.
His last word would be the cross.
Okay.
Read 12, 13, and 14.
Okay.
Kabed et Avika wa et Imeka Ma'an, Ya'arifun, Yameka, Al Ha'adama Asher Yehovah, Eloheka Noten La, Lo Tears Up, Lo Teen Up, Lo Teen No, Lo Ta'ane, Bade Aka E Zaquen, Lo Tadmod, Big, Le'eka, Lo Tadmod, Eshek, Le'eka, Wa'abdo, Wa'amato, Tesoro, Kamuro, Wako, Ashir, Le'eka.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
12, 13, 14.
12, 13.
Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which Jehovah thy power giveth thee. Thou shalt not murder. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor.
Amen.
Modi manat mulak she'atahu Eloheinu Elohei avotenu Abraham Yitzchak veYaakov le'olam va'ed.
נקראת הבחור יואן בן אח ירמיהו בן נפתלי בן ישראל.
Baruch Yahovah Yom Yom, Baruch Yahovah Tamid, Ubaruch Haba Likra et Torah.
Hallelujah.
Roim et hakolot ואת הלפידים ואת כל השופר ואת ההר השם וירא העם ויענו Wayanu'u. Do. Miracho. Vayomru el Moshe. Daber ata imanu wanish ma'a wa'ali Daber imanu Elohim Pen Namud Wayomer Moshe El Ha'am Al Tira'u Ki Lava Avur Nasot Etchem Ba Elohim Uva'avur Tikia Ki Lava You're a toe. I'll connect him. Reveal teeth. Techetal.
Amen.
Yeah.
And all the people perceived the thunderings and the lightnings and the voice of the horn and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they trembled and stood afar off. And they said unto Moses, Speak thou with us, and we will hear. But let not Elohim speak with us, lest we die. And Moses said unto the people, Fear not, for Elohim is come to prove you, and that his fear may be before you, that ye sin not.
Hallelujah.
Modi manatnula, she'atahu Eloheinu, ve'Elohei avotenu, Abraham, Yitzchak, ve'Yaakov le'olam va'ed.
נקראת הבחורה מיקהיה בת שומר אליעזר בן ישראל.
Baruch Yahuwah Yom Yom, Baruch Yahuwah Tamid, Ubaruch Haba Likra et HaTorah. Hallelujah.
18 to 20. Hallelujah.
And the people stood afar off, but Moses drew near unto the thick darkness where Elohim was. And Jehovah said unto Moses, thus thou shalt say unto the children of Israel, ye yourselves have seen that I have talked with you from heaven. Ye shall not make with me gods of silver or gods of gold. Ye shall not make unto you.
Amen.
Amen.
Modim anaknu lach, she'atahu Eloheinu, ve'Elohei avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, ve'Yaakov le'olam va'ed.
נקראת המפטיר לפרשת יתרו, הזקן יתניאל בן יהודה בן ישראל.
אני פה ברוך השם של יהוה.
Baruch Yahovah Yom Yom, Baruch Yahovah Tamid, Ubaruch Haba Litvayet HaTorah.
אני נפנק יהוה נתן לנו את התורה.
Hallelujah.
מזבח אדמה, תעשה לי וזבחת עליו את עולותיך ואת שלמך את זונך ואת בקרקע וכל המקום אשר אזכיר את שמי אבוא אליך וברכתך ועם מזבח אבנים תעשה לי, לא תבנה את כן גזית, כי חרכה הנפת עליה וואת חלכה ולא תעלה במעלות על מזבחי אשר לא תגלה על וואטקה, וואטקה, סליחה, עליי.
Hallelujah.
Ye shall not make me gods of silver or gods of gold, ye shall make unto you. An altar of earth thou shalt make unto me, and shalt sacrifice thereon thy burnt offerings and thy peace offerings, thy sheep and thine oxen. In every place where I cause my name to be mentioned, I will come unto thee and bless thee. And if thou make me an altar of stone, thou shalt not build it of hewn stones. For if thou lift up thy tool upon it, thou hast profaned it. Neither shalt thou go up thy steps unto mine altar, that thy nakedness be not uncovered thereon.
Amen. Modim anaknu lach, she'atahu Eloheinu, ve'Elohei avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, ve'Yaakov le'olam va'ed.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, Nikola.
Hope everything is well with everyone. God's good. Y'all may have a seat. Most High is very, very good, because, everyone can't say Todah Yehovah or Chayah. Young people, y'all know me, right? Do y'all know me?
Yes.
What do I do?
Ask questions.
Thank you. So what does that mean?
You're going to ask questions.
Pay attention.
That's right. Pay attention. Give thanks and praise to the Most High God for all of His goodness and all of His mercies. I thank the Most High because y'all be willing in a couple of weeks, in about 10 days, I'll be over 1,000 and some odd days old. You know, when you say a baby is 2, 3, 4, 5 days old, I'm still a baby. Over 1,000 some odd days. God is so good. Now y'all figure that out. Y'all have to figure out the age. You understand? But the Most High, I just told you. 1,000 and some odd days. Blessed be God, because to make it to an age where you have experienced and seen so many things, and understanding the goodness and the mercies of Jehovah. Because He is merciful and His mercy endureth forever. The portion that we're going to be reading today is going to be in the book of Isaiah, the 6th chapter, from the first, from verse 1 through the 7th chapter, verse 6, and then we're going to conclude at the 9th chapter and verses 5 and 6. And see, the most good, the most gracious part of Jehovah is that He blessed us to know His name. Everyone cannot say, I know who the true and the living God is. What did I just say? What?
Everyone cannot just say, I'm the true living God.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Pay attention. What I just said?
Pay attention.
That's it, clear. Chapter 6, verse 1. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw Jehovah sitting upon a throne, high lifted up, and His train filled the temple. Above Him stood the seraphim. Each one had 6 wings. With twain He covered His face, and with twain He covered His feet, and with twain He did fly. And one called unto another, and said, Holy, holy, holy is Jehovah of hosts. The whole earth is full of His glory. You see, in the year that King Uzziah died, because he reigned from, and I don't know how they get their numbers, he reigned from about 829 to about 777. Then he died. But when he died, this is when Isaiah got his calling. And see, now he's sitting in the temple. You know he had to be a Levite.
Right.
Because he's sitting in the temple. And then he sees this thing.
Right.
Now, can you imagine?
Right.
You're Levites, you're sitting in a place, and all of a sudden, you see this image.
Right.
And then, it's flying.
Right.
First thing you're going to do is like that. You're going to cover your face. Whoa, is this thing coming after me? And then he says, listen to how he goes on. He says, and the posts of the door were moved at the voice of them that called, and the house was filled with smoke. And I said, woe is me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. For mine eyes have seen the King, the Jehovah of hosts. See, can you imagine that? You seeing this. Now, you're the only one that's seeing it.
Right. Your vision.
Everybody's not seeing this. And this thing is like, it's crawling, and now you're the only one that hear it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you say, oh man, I'm seeing God. And I live in the midst of an unclean people, and I'm a man of unclean lips. You understand? He's seeing these things, and he's saying this to himself. I know I'm going to die. What did I just say?
I know I'm going to die.
Okay. Then he goes on and he says, then flew unto me one of the seraphim with a glowing stone in his hand, which he had taken with the tongs from off the altar. And he touched my mouth with it and said, lo, this hath touched thy lips, and thine iniquity is taken away, and thy sin expiated. You understand? You're the only one that's seeing this.
Right.
Everybody else in there, they don't see this. But this thing he takes with the tongues from when something comes off the altar, what happens to it? Sliga? And what does it do if you put that thing? Anything that comes off the altar is clean. So now when this seraphim flew onto him, he touched his lips with one of the coals from off the altar. What does a coal do?
Burn.
There you go, it burns. But when he touched his lips, he took away all of his sin.
Amen. Purified.
That's why we, as people, have to make sure we purify ourselves. Remember, your body is like the temple. You're supposed to always keep your body holy. What did I just say?
You should always keep your body holy.
Come on now.
So therefore, you have to do that which is right, pleasing, and pleasant in the eyes of the Most High. And you got to do it constantly and continuously. Can you do it sometimes?
No.
Can you do it half the time?
No.
How you have to do it?
All the time.
There you go. He goes on and he says, and I heard the voice of Yahweh saying, whom shall I send?
Right. Who's going to go?
And who will go for us?
Right.
Then said I, him I send me. Yeah, because I want to get out of there now. See, that thing probably scared me so bad. Scared straight. You ever heard that expression? Scared straight?
Yeah.
Even if I was doing something that I knew was wrong, when I saw this thing, it scared me straight. I'm not going to do anything that's unpleasing in the eyes of the Most High. What did I just say?
I'm not going to do anything unpleasing to the eyes of God.
That's why we have to always be conscious of all the things that we do. You cannot straight to the left hand. You cannot straight to the right. You have to always keep a even keel. You have to be, you ever seen a horse with blinders?
Yes.
You know what blinders are?
Yes.
That's right. That means the horse cannot stray to the left nor to the right. He only sees right in front of him. That's the way we as a people have to be. We have to keep our eyes straight on the path of righteousness. What did I just say?
You have to keep your eyes straight on the path of righteousness.
That's right, fellas.
Straight on the path of righteousness. You cannot drift, and you got to think about it every second of every minute of every hour of every day of every week, every month, every year. It cannot deviate. That's the way you seek the righteousness of the Most High.
Which is our claim.
What did I just say, Tikwa? What are you supposed to be paying?
Attention.
Thank you. And what are you going to do from here on out?
Pay attention.
Thank you. We have to be an attentive people, and we have to be attentive to the laws of the Most High. Because if we don't seek Him, you think He's going to care? You think He's going to care? I'll make 10,000 others. And I will make them, and they will be diligent unto my laws, my ordinances, and my commandments. What did I just say, Kasidia?
I'll be telling to order
Pay what? Thank you. See, and that's what it is. See, we haven't been paying attention to the Most High.
Right.
We haven't paid attention. We let everything go dry along so. Oh, it'll work out. Huh. You see how it worked out? Has it worked out in America?
No.
See, we put ourselves in this situation that we're in. And it's up to us to get us out of the situation that we're in. Listen to what the prophet continuously says. And he said, go and tell this people, hear ye indeed but understand not, and see ye indeed but perceive not. You understand? We were seeing all these things and hearing all these things that was happening to us, and we're still seeing and hearing it. We're still seeing it and hearing it. But look at our people. You think they're paying attention? You understand how people so poor they can't even pay attention.
Wow.
And it's a very sad state of affairs. What did I just say, Joel?
It's a very sad state of affairs.
Okay. Do I have your attention?
Yes.
Remember, when Yatniel gets up here, he's going to be asking you questions. Right, Nasiel? Prophet goes on to say, make the heart of this people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, and hearing with their ears, and understanding with their heart, return and be healed.
That'll be
See, our people, that's our people. They done got so fat in America because you can go to the supermarket, you could go to Walmart, you could go to Target, you can go to all the convenient places, but put our people back in a situation where they have to do their shopping daily. Put our people in a place where they don't have the modern conveniences. Put our people in a place where they're under another Trump administration. See, because, they done got so fat, they don't even realize that Trump administration is destroying this country. See, he's only a catalyst to the destruction of America. See, Most High God doesn't make mistakes. He puts certain people in a certain place at a certain time for a certain purpose. And believe me, that clown, and that's all he is, he's a clown, he's a buffoon. He has the vocabulary. Matter of fact, he don't have a vocabulary that equal to any of y'all. What did I just say?
He doesn't have the vocabulary that we all have.
You understand? If he's making up words, look up the words that he speaks. If you want to know how valuable your education is, listen to a Donald Trump speech and listen to an Obama speech. You'll see how valuable education is. What did I just say, Naeem?
You said that you'll see how valuable education is.
See, the thing about it is, y'all got to get your education now while it's free. You have to get it. And remember, you have to be 10 times better than anyone in front of you. Because remember, a person of another nationality or ethnicity is not going to educate you to be better than their people. You understand what I just said? What I just say?
Another nation isn't going to.
Another nation is not going to educate you to be better than their people. So if I have a Chinese teacher, is that Chinese teacher going to teach me better than he teaches his own Chinese?
No.
If I have an Indian teacher, is that Indian teacher going to teach me to be better than his child?
No.
Integration was the worst thing that ever happened to our people.
Yep.
It was the worst thing. Only thing they wasn't doing it correctly. You were supposed to be separate but equal. this country has never been equal toward us as a people. You know why? Because they know who you are as a people. You're that sleeping giant. And when we wake up, and the only way we're going to wake up is by depending on the Most High. What did I just say?
The only way that we wake up is depending on the Most High.
They're paying attention. We go on to say, he said, make the heart of this people fat, like our hearts, because we're in a country that makes you fat, and make their ears heavy, but we can't hear anything, and shut their eyes. We see all of these things happening, lest they seeing with their eyes, and hearing with their ears, and understanding with their heart, return and be healed. Then I said, Yehovah, how long? And he said, until cities be wasted, without inhabitant, and houses without man, and the land become utterly waste. And Yehovah have removed men far away, and the forsaken places be many in the midst of the land. If y'all be willing, we'll all be able to go back over to Israel. I mean, if you see the land of Israel, you see some waste places. I mean, when he says, I'm a covenant, y'all ever saw a desert? No. Go to Israel, you'll see a desert. You won't see anything but sand. And it's such a deep experience. You know, when we were there, you know, when we passed Gilgal, and when we passed so many other places, when you look at the mountains of Moab, you said, oh shucks, that's where Moses died. You see these things, and then you understand that this joint is for real. This is for real. What did I just say?
This is for real.
It's for real because the Most High, his words don't come back void to him. They don't come back void. Everything he says comes back right the way he said it. What did I just say, Tikwa? What are you supposed to do? Don't let your mind wander somewhere else, okay? Keep your mind right here. You hear? So, everything that the Most High says comes right back to him the way he said it. So when he says, I'm going to take y'all through the fire, and it's going to burn you, but you're not going to understand. You understand? He brought us through fire. We got burned, and we didn't even take it to heart. We didn't even take to heart the things that are happening to us as a people now. We're not taking it to heart. Look at our people. I mean, our regular people are out here doing their Saturday thing, going to the car wash, going to Walmart, getting ready for a party, going to the movies.
Still celebrating Valentine's Day.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Valentine's Day.
Weekend.
I went and I saw all of these people coming and getting flowers, balloons, for a day that doesn't even mean anything.
Right.
And guess who it was? Our people. What did I just say, Nasia?
Guess who it was? Our people.
What are you supposed to pay? Thank you. You go on and we says, and Yehovah have, at verse 12, and Yehovah have removed men far away, and the forsaken places be many in the midst of the land. Aren't we far away?
Yeah.
And if there be yet a tenth in it, it shall again be eaten up as a terebinth, and as an oak whose stock remaineth, when they cast their leaves. So the holy seed shall be the stock thereof. In other words, he's going to keep some of us there. And when you go to the land, you'll see some of us. That's the ironic thing. there's some of us still there. And you know, me, I speculate. I said, they must be Rechabites. Who the Rechabites?
Book of Joshua.
Who?
Book of Jeremiah.
What was his name? What was the father? Who's the father of the Rechabites?
Rachel.
Yonadab. I'm going to tear y'all up. I'm going to tear y'all up. He goes on, let's send this out. Slick up. And it came to pass in the days of Ahaz, the son of Jotham, the son of Uzziah. Now remember, Uzziah he died already. King of Yehudah, that Rezin, the king of Aram, and Pekah, the son of Remaliah, king of Israel, went up to Jerusalem to war against it, but could not prevail against it. And it was told the house of David, saying, Amram is confederate with Ephraim. And his heart was moved, and the heart of his people, as the trees of the forest are moved with the wind. Now remember, this was a confederation that Judah had made prior to this. But then Judah said, nah, man, I'm not down. So now, Pekah, son of Remaliah, and Rezin, king of Aram, they said, well, let's go beat up Judah. So now that's why Ahaz was afraid, because he wasn't doing that which was right. But he's from the house of David. And he goes on and he says, then said Jehovah unto Isaiah, go forth to meet Ahaz and Sikah. Go forth now to meet Ahaz, thou and She'er Jashub, thy son, at the end of the conduit of the upper pool, in the highway of the fuller's field, and say unto him, keep calm and be quiet. Fear not, neither let thy heart be faint because of these two tales of smoking firebrands. For the fierce anger of Rezin and Aram, and the son of Remaliah, because Aram hath counseled evil against thee. Ephraim also, the son of Remaliah, saying, let us go up against Yehudah and vex it, and let us make a breach therein for us, and set up a king in the midst of it, even the son of Tabiel. You understand? Tabiel wasn't a Judite. They wanted to put a puppet in there that they could control. Just like Donald Trump is putting all of these puppets in all of these high places, and he's controlling them. You understand? So now, nothing comes back void to the mouth of the Most High. He is true to his word. When he says Israel will return, Israel's going to return, be it you or not. What did I just say, Tikwa?
Israel's going to return, you or not.
That's right.
He goes on into the 9th chapter. He goes into the 9th chapter, the 5 and 6th verse, and he says, for a child is born unto us, a son is given unto us, and the government is upon his shoulder, and his name is called Pele-Yoez El-Gibo-Abi-Atzach Shalom, that the government may be increased, and peace there be no end upon the throne of David, and upon his kingdom, to establish it, and to uphold it through justice and through righteousness, from henceforth even forever. The zeal of your host doth perform this. You understand? In a government that is performed with justice. Is this government just?
No.
What did I just say?
Is this government just? No.
Is this government just?
No.
Is there righteousness in this government?
No. Hatred.
So what do you have to do? You have to understand the zeal of the Most High. You know how Pincus was jealous for the Most High? That's the way you have to be. That's the way we have to be. That's what he did?
That's it.
Giving thanks to the Most High God for all of His goodness and all of His mercies, for all of the little bit of knowledge that He's placed within me. Blessed be His name. Shabbat Shalom. What did I just say?
Let's give praise Yah for our elder again. Seated briefly. Thank Yah for the readings of the Torah, all of you, young and old. May you thank again our Maftir for bringing the words of prophecy. Quick connection. Of course, the portion is that this is the revelation of one of the greatest of the later prophets, Yeshayahu, connected to the beginning of the national revelation of our Torah.
Right.
We also have something interesting here. How do we know that our scriptures are true, everybody else's are false? When everybody else's is false, even though everybody claims everybody's book is true. All of the people saw and heard the Creator's voice. If I said the Creator's voice came to me and you at the same time right now, you know for sure whether it happened. If I said the lights shut out and the Creator started to speak to each of you and said Yaakov is the new Kohen Gadol, you know for sure whether I'm telling you the truth or not, right? That's the truth, the power of Sinai. With Yeshayahu, he's powerful because he says, I'm going to tell you the future of the history book, and I'm going to die, but I'm going to write it all out. And just as all the things that came for bad and for good, that in our history, that proves Yeshayahu was true. So we can know it's not just hocus pocus and feelings. They will write the truth, and they will close the book and say, if I'm lying, I'm dying. Moshe did it, Yeshayahu did it. So that's the connection between our portions. Thank Yah for, again, our Maftir, all of those who came before us to recite this holy Torah. Let us rise up and give thanks to Yah for revealing His instructions to us, the Psalm, HaTorah. HaTorah, HaTorah, Segor HaTorah Ve'elod, whereby shall we return unto thee, what I Oh, how can we draw closer to each other in the spirit of true righteousness? By thy Lord is the only way we Hallelujah. Thank you for all of those who joined us, the Boaz, and all of the Sisters and the children that came in, let us sing first in commemoration of Sinai, thy word, before we take it out on a higher note. Thy word is on page 3.
Let my cry come near before thee. Teach me of thy word. May my supplication find thee. Teach me of thy word. Let my lips utter thy praise. For thy Lord is here before me. Keep thy hand ready to help me. I've chosen thy word. I have longed for thy salvation. My delight is in thy word. Let my soul live, and it shall praise thee. Let thine ordinances save me. I've gone astray. Oh, yeah, please find me and teach me of thy word.
Hallelujah. Let's sing How's Israel to stand. Page 5.
Here are we because of thy goodness. For our souls we commit to thy hand. Help us wisdom from and our Father. I was once for Israel to stand. Thou would help us to stand in thy glorious grace. Thou would help us to stand any grateful our days. In thy mercy and life for throughout all the land. By the power of thy promise, God, for Israel to stand. We have thought that our God has forgotten, and we pray in the land. But he said, for the angel of courage, so he gave us the spirit to stand. Thou would help us to stand in thy glorious name. Thou would help us to stand and erase all our shame. In thy mercy and life for throughout all the land. By the power of thy promise, God, for Israel to stand. Thou would help us to stand in thy glorious name. Thou would help us to stand and erase all our shame. In thy mercy and life, Lord, throughout all the land. By the power of thy promise, God, for Israel to stand.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
We be seated as we ask our Mensa to lead us with the recitation of the 8th proverb.
Hallelujah.
God.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Giving all praises and honor to the Most High. Thanking Him for life, food, clothing, and shelter. Traveling mercy. It's always a pleasure to be here amongst the brethren and sisters. Thanking Him for this community. So it gives you an opportunity to travel and even stay within His laws, statutes, and commandments. The eighth problem. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Brought not wisdom called, and understanding put forth her voice. In the top of high places by the way, where the paths meet, she standeth. Besides the gate, at the entry of the city, at the coming in of the door, she cried aloud. Unto you, O men, I call, and my voice is to the sons of men. O ye thoughtless, understand prudence, and ye fools, be ye of understanding heart. Hear, for I will speak of excellent things, and the opening of my lips shall be right things. For my mouth shall utter truth, and wickedness is an abomination to my lips. All the words of my mouth are in righteousness. There is nothing perverse or crooked in them. They are all plain that understand it, and right to them that find knowledge. Receive my instructions and not silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all things desirable are not to be compared unto her. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence, and find out knowledge of devices. The fear of Jehovah is to hate evil, pride and arrogancy and the evil way, and the forward mouth do I hate. Counsel is mine, and some wisdom, I am understanding power is mine. By me kings reign, and princes decree justice. By me princes rule, and nobles, even all the judges of the earth. I love them that love me, and those that seek me earnestly shall find me. Riches and honor are with me, yea, enduring riches and righteousness. My fruit is better than gold, yea, than fine gold, and my produce than choice silver. I walk in the way of righteousness, in the midst of the paths of justice, that I may cause those that love me to inherit substance, and that I will fill their treasury. Jehovah made me as the beginning of his way, the first of his works of old. I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning, or ever the earth was. When there was no depths, I was brought forth. When there were no fountains abounding with water, before the mountains were settled, before the hills was I brought forth. While as yet he had not made the earth, nor the fields, nor the beginning of the dust of the world. When he established the heavens, I was there. When he set a circle upon the face of the deep. When he made firm the skies above. When the fountains of the deep showed their might. When he gave to the sea his decree, that the water should not transgress his commandments. When he appointed the foundations of the earth, then I was by him as a nursling, and I was daily all delight, playing always before him, playing in his habitable earth, and my delight is with the sons of men. Now therefore, ye children, hearken unto me, for happy are they that keep my ways. Hear instructions and be wise, and refuse it not. Happy is the man that hearkeneth to me, watching daily at my gates, waiting at the posts of my door. For whoso findeth me findeth life, and obtaineth favor of Jehovah. But he that misseth me wrongeth his own soul. All they that hate me love death.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Once again, giving praises to the Most High. Thanking him for the opportunity to even read the 8th program. Thanking him for the opportunity to be here amongst his people. It's always a pleasure, as I said, to be here. Giving praise and honor to him. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Let's always say the 24th Psalm as we prepare our hearts for the Word of God. Psalm of David. The earth is Jehovah's, and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. For he hath founded it upon the seas, and established it upon the floods. Who shall ascend into the mountain of Jehovah, and who shall stand in his holy place? Ye that have clean hands and a pure heart, who have not taken my name in vain, and have not sworn deceitfully, ye shall receive a blessing from Jehovah, and righteousness from the power of his salvation. Such is the generation of them that seek after him, that seek thy face, even Yaakov, Sidrah. Lift up your heads, O ye gates, and be ye lifted up, ye everlasting doors,
that the King of glory may come in. Who is the King of glory? Yehovah strong and mighty, Yehovah mighty in battle. Lift up your heads, O ye gates. Yea, lift them up, ye everlasting doors, that the King of glory may come in. Who then is the King of glory? Yehovah of hosts, he is the King of glory.
Selah. Let us even rise, giving honor and glory to Yah, our power, our creator and our maker. We give thanks to Yah for our tribes, our leader, our elders, our Kohanim, Morim, Mesharim, the men and women of Israel, by saying Hallelujah.
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 Let's even welcome our Moreh for the day, Moreh Shemuel, who is going to bring us, again, a portion of Yithro. Hallelujah.
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 Kaya.
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 Kaya. Kaya.
There is no class.
What are y'all supposed to pay?
Shabbat Shalom Lachem.
Shabbat Shalom Lakam.
First and foremost, giving all praises to the Holy One of Israel, Yehovah Zevaot. We thank you for the blessed gift of life on this holy Shabbat day. You will not have classes today, so you will remain with us as we go through this portion. How's everyone doing? We have to be thankful to the Holy One of Israel for life. You know, it's my job. I'm required to move all over certain counties in North Carolina and providing means of entertainment to the population. And I drive a lot. I did not know this would be my life, driving on these big highways coming from a country like Guyana, where we don't have the size of highways as we see here, and maneuvering through traffic, avoiding other cars trying to hit me for reasons I don't know. And every day I get home, I earnestly say Todaya, because I see so much craziness. It's, you know, like before you unfolding. You could just be driving and you see cars starting to move in a funny way and you know up ahead someone is hitting somewhere. And every day I get home and, you know, safe to the family, and it's a blessing.
Hallelujah.
Yithro, I think his name comes from the word like excellence or excess, or like how we would say yotir tov, like better. It comes, I think, from the same root as that word. And this is a portion that, like the 20th chapter that we just did for the Hebrew reading, this is one of the portions, like I heard Mr. Yaakov, we started off reciting the first psalm in the Hebrew language. There are certain portions that people commit to memory. And the first psalm is one of them, Psalm 23, as well, Deuteronomy 6, 4, onward to 9, and also the Ten Commandments, where people commit that to memory, especially for the youth and for the adults. These are some of the ways that you can, you know, have Hebrew prayers at your fingertips at all times. You know, you can, you know, commit these things to memory. I'm speaking about memory because as human beings, we are very programmable. Just like the devices I install all week, where they come with programs and codes, we as individuals, all of those things you see are patterned after us. Everything that is created by man can only be patterned after the ultimate or the optimum creation, which is a human being. So when we see devices like the computers, etc., those are programmed as well as human beings coming from the Most High as well. We are programmed. There's a singer, a rapper, one of the New York rappers, probably from the Bronx, where rap they said came from, Joel Ortiz. On one of his new album, one of the songs, his name, the song Screens, and it speaks of the way screens are actually taking us away from the reality of the world. And in this era of super information, our people, we are at our dumbest. We have access to so much information. Like yesterday, Maisha and I, we were just wondering, how many counties are in North Carolina? Googled it. 100. We didn't know that. And there was a list. You know, so many counties, because as I'm driving, I'm in Airedale County, Rowan County, different counties. Like, oh, there's another one. It's 100. So many. You know, so we have access to information at our fingertips. A lot of the stuff I'm mentioning today, you can get it for yourself. One of the things I want to look at is a Hebrew word. We may not have a Hebrew word for today, but I have a Hebrew word for today. And my Hebrew word for today is the word hypocrite. Zavua. And this is the word I chose because in my personal life, when we speak about being programmed, etc., one of my strivings is not to be a hypocrite. I've been a hypocrite before. And it does not take you, especially standing before people doing the service of the Most High, does not take you in a nice direction. Any person, striving to live according to the laws of the Creator, you cannot have two lives. You have to be doing this or not. I heard Zaquen Yatniel say that earlier about every second of every minute, every hour, etc. And it's a continuous striving. I am nowhere near perfect. Nowhere near perfect. I keep monitoring myself. This is not about me, but I keep monitoring myself so that I can, at any time, be, before the Most High and be innocent to some degree. We're going to look at certain other laws of other nations and the laws of Ma'at, the Egyptians. One of the symbols was on the day of judgment that they would have the scales. They would have your heart, your doings, balanced with a feather. Ancient concepts. And your heart, of course, naturally you think your heart as an organ would be heavier than a feather. But if you are right before the Creator, in their minds, they're saying that your heart has to balance the same weight as a feather. Now, we as individuals, think about, at least in my life, many times what used to get me in trouble, and I like to use my life because I know my life, because I came this way of life when I was like between 17, 18, around that time. And you still wanted to kind of live that life out there, but still wanted to do the law. And what you start to do is become a Torah lawyer. No offense to lawyers. But you try to find ways by which you can circumvent the law. But it says this, but it doesn't really say this. You meet people like that. You end up in trouble trying to do that. So, like, for the youth in our midst, the guidance that you receive here is phenomenal. You are guided in the step-by-step schooling, adult life. I would advise you to follow it. Like for my nephew Malkiel, I just heard he was, he admitted to college or whatever. That's a beautiful thing because your steps are, you know where you're going. You don't know how awesome that is. As against living haphazardly. Look at the average black man out there, just hanging on the corner, trying to compete with each other who sponsors the lowest, begging for $1. Our lives here, your lives are mapped out. Don't take it for granted. So as people that are programmable, this law that we have, it actually, once you live it, it can take your mind in another direction. It can even take your future. I don't know where that. Sometimes these things is anyway. know if I can get it back. But there's the study of today that they speak about epigenetics. I spoke to you about before, of you actually being able to, with your environment, your teachings, etc., actually alter your DNA. So, as we're walking around as beings, we have DNA up to this point. When you look at an individual, that is not that individual you're looking at. You're looking at generations of a being up to now. Because in us, we have generations of DNA. We have generations of memories. We have generations of experiences that cause us to act in certain ways. So epigenetics allows us to fashion ourselves in a manner that we want to go. That is what this story is about. It's just not about coming out on the Shabbat, singing a few songs, dressing up. It's about earnestly, to the best of our ability, striving to be better than yesterday. That's what it has to be. And in so doing, we can ensure that we go into a better direction. We cannot be selfish. I'm saying we cannot be selfish because many times we say that, well, I'm going to do my thing. But in you doing your thing, you're affecting the future generations. Because if the future generation was on one level, you should be striving, I should be striving to take my next generation from my actions, my lifestyle, to a higher level. From our slave experience, we're now in colleges, universities, we already were the president of the country, but we're not focusing on the change of our behavior. We cannot continue to be the way we were that caused us to be in this predicament. We cannot. All right, let me just look a bit here at epigenetics. And when I have a portion, I don't want it to be something that, he sounded good or whatever. I want to be able to influence you to implement these things that I mentioned. So one of the things about epigenetics is an emerging area of scientific research that shows how environmental influences, children's experiences actually affect the expression of their genes. So a child that was raised in the Caribbean or a person that was raised in the Caribbean may behave differently from a person that was raised in Alaska. You see, different environmental conditions affect the way you are. I've been blessed to move around a bit. I always like to tell people this is the third country I've lived in, especially when I'm speaking about politics, and I say politicians are the same. They just use you for their gain, and then when they're in office, they throw you to the side. And then when it's election time, they come to you again. You understand? I've seen that. So epigenetics helps me to have a well-awakened third eye when it comes to like politicians and people generally, because I've seen it in different cultures. So when we look at the book of Yithro, we're focusing on cultures and the way the law is going to fashion us, to make us better individuals. Law. When we speak about law, and we look at the universe is governed by law. These planets have been in existence for numbers of years we don't even know. Scientists say billions. And these planets do not clash into each other. They don't. They might pass in front of each other. So many light years, but the light, you might have an eclipse here and there. Certain planets align. Sometimes you look up in the night sky, you see alignment, etc. But when it comes to chaos, it does not exist in the universe. The Most High is not a chaotic being. He deals with perfect order. Just to help you to understand how perfect this being is that we serve, we call Yah. I've shown this video before, but just to help us to understand how this ball that we live on, how it actually functions. Turning volume. waiting for the buffering to end. But the video I'm attempting to show actually shows you the movements of the planets in the universe. And it's amazing the way in which they never clash into each other. That's an amazing thing. Okay, it's not showing. Never mind. All right, so chaos does not exist in the universe. This does not exist. Now, this is Nikola Tesla. The company was named in his honor, I guess. He's one of the great brains or geniuses in our generation or in recent times. He says, "My brain is only a receiver. In the universe, there's a core from which we obtain knowledge, strength, inspiration. I have not penetrated into the secrets of this core, but I know that it exists." In science, when they speak about the creator, they say stuff like this. They can't just bluntly say, well, we know Yah exists, but we know that there is a Yah, the core that he's speaking of, that our brain is a receiver of that information. And I was able, even before actually seeing him say this, I was, from reading and just meditation, it occurred to me that certain parts of our anatomy is linked to the spirit world. And the spirit world is like a cell phone. You have this device, but it can only function if it has signals coming to it. So our brain, our heart, is one of those organs that links to the Holy One of Israel. So in the culture that we pursue, if you are not tapped into the right frequency, you can only get one set of information. You can look at a man that is a gangster from the man that is let's say, an honest living person. His life is going to turn out differently. Generations later, it's going to turn out differently. The way Donald Trump is acting, you got to see who his grandfather was. It's just natural facts. Now, when we look at the law that we're about to embark on, we have to realize that our nation is not the oldest nation. And that is a problem that many times people, they have a hard time dealing with. But we are a very young nation. And there were many laws that existed prior to us receiving the Ten Commandments, as they're called. There was, let me just give you a few. All right, we have the laws coming from all the way 2000 plus BC to almost present time. And we see in there we have this stuff like the laws of Hammurabi, the laws of Ma'at, you have the Sharia law, the Chinese law. All of these were laws. But prior to the Mosaic laws, we had thousands of years prior to us coming together as a people. Now, what makes the difference between the cultures on the planet with these laws is that if you go and you seek, you will find that many of these laws, the difference between them and us was the fact of a different experience. So when in Babylon, ancient Babylon, whatever was happening with Hammurabi, the Syrian Empire, was happening, Hammurabi would have used that example and say, oh, today a man was pulling his ox and the ox did this. Okay, this is a ruling from this experience. We met the Most High on Mount Sinai, that's our experience. And as a result, this is how we code our laws, and etc. So if a person comes with Christianity, and that is their experience, whether or not it happened, that's their experience, they should not try to enforce it on you. That is not the experience of your people. That is why you see the Indians in this land, you see the Inuit, the Eskimo, they have different experiences. When you check it, all of these cultures are similar. They don't steal. they look against murder, adultery. Well, some of them, they have problem with that, but mostly adultery. They have, you know, lying, all of those things. Certain cultures are against it because it's one law just coming from different experiences. So we have the Code of Hammurabi. This is stuff that you can read. I put up a picture of Hammurabi so you could know it's not what is shown on TV. White people don't have beard like that. Okay? You can see that's, I don't want to say the word, but it's a naughty beard associated with people of color. And this is, he said different kings made different laws before him, changed them whenever they wanted to. And it's very confusing. So if you know the laws of Hammurabi, once it like the laws of Babylon even, once it's said, that's it, you can't change it. So once the king makes out a ruling, that is it. Like in days of Daniel, that was the situation. It says 282 laws that everybody had to follow and the punishments for them. Even though most people couldn't read, he published these laws on a stone and let everyone see them so no one could just change them. So now we talk about written in stone, the Code of Hammurabi. We had the 42, as they call it, 42 negative confessions of Egypt or the laws of Ma'at. And when I was in Pan-Africanism in my early university days, when I first was exposed to this, I was asking people like, do people really do this? Because it was, you know, this clear list, and I wanted the people who were really doing it, you know, being exposed to the Ten Commandments. But it's different from the Ten Commandments because the Ten Commandments are actually commands that the Moses is saying, you will not do this, that, and the other. Amongst the Hindus as well, they had their own laws. This is some of the laws. They had the laws of Manu. As well, amongst the Chinese, they had codified laws. In early Rome, they had certain laws. You can do research on these things. And up to this time, you know, it is Sharia law, the Islamic law that many people say is quite cruel. This is some of the things that the Sharia law, they say it allows, you know, cannibalism, bestiality, rape, you know, pedophilia. If you study the Prophet Muhammad as well, he had a very young wife, you know. They don't like to say this. If a person from like Saudi Arabia was here, they would immediately try to kill me for saying stuff like this. But it's actually facts happening in the nation of Islam. Also, it goes against what the Prophet Muhammad would have said when it comes to how to behave in an actual war. And we look at different laws as it relates to the United States of America when we actually go into the portion which begins in the 18th chapter in the book of Shemuel, also known as Exodus. The 18th chapter in the first verse in the book of Shemuel.
Now Yithro, the Kohen of Midian, Moses' father-in-law, heard of all that Elohim had done for Moses and for Israel, his people, how that Jehovah had brought Israel out of
Egypt. It was
Egypt.
all over that area.
And Yithro, Moses' father-in-law, took Zipporah, Moses' wife, after he had sent her away, and her two sons, of whom the name of the one was Gershom, for he said, I've been a stranger in a strange land. And the name of the other was Eliezer, for Elohim of my father was my help, and delivered me from the sword of Pharaoh.
So we see that he's naming his children, dealing with historic events as a memorial of certain things that was happening. He was a stranger there, Gershom. The Most High delivered him from sword of Pharaoh. Eliezer, Elohim is my help. Right. As against today, when I get my routes and I look through the names, I know if it's an Israelite or not. From the names. Jaquanda, okay. I was in a home today and Jaquanda was behaving so badly. I recorded it. I mean, she was behaving so badly. She was breaking laws as in it's a knack. It was crazy. Cursing up. Her children came home listening to cursing music. She was right there. So, you know, it was bad for the Israelite family, but you could know from the name. And it's important that we name our children things with the Creator because your name, you become, it manifests. whatever you name, whatever you're called, that spirit goes out there into that core that we were speaking of, and it becomes manifest.
Zabir.
5.
And Yithro, Moses' father-in-law, came with his sons and his wife unto Moses into the wilderness, where he was encamped at the mount of Elohim. And he said unto Moses, I, thy father-in-law Yithro, am coming unto thee, and thy wife and her 2 sons with her.
Remember, this was the monk that the Most High said, if you doubt me,
Right.
in a few years or whenever I rescue them, you'll meet right to this mountain.
Right.
So it was not too far from where they would be living.
Mm-hmm.
And Moses went, and Moses went out to meet his father-in-law, and bowed down and kissed him. And they asked each other of their welfare, and they came into the tent.
And this is African mannerisms, because when you deal with brothers from the continent, every time they meet you, how are you? How is your family? They ask those questions.
Right.
So they're asking the welfare of your loved ones, so that they could know how to approach the conversation.
Right.
People just step to you and they're just saying crazy stuff. They don't know the state of mind. So they were asking each other the state of mind. It's a cultural way of greeting each other that we should return to. Yaladim, pay attention. Kamshik.
And Moses told his father-in-law all that Yahweh had done unto Pharaoh and to the Egyptians for Israel's sake, all the travail that had come upon them by the way, and how Yahweh delivered them. And Yithro rejoiced for all the goodness which Yahweh had done to Israel, in that he had delivered them out of the hand of the Egyptians.
And for those Hebrew students, when you read, try to study the portions in the original language. You know, your vocab, of course, is going to increase, but then it's going to help you to understand why you could see the Most High would use different words for certain things. Like here it says, Yithro rejoiced, and there's a word like sas rejoiced, but here he used another word called that why. You know, going into the language to help you to understand. He was joining in the victory of Moshe. The thing about Moshe's experience with his father-in-law, when you get a father-in-law, he's also your father. But Yithro was also Moshe's mentor to some extent, training him. Remember, he was a priest already, so he was already learning the priesthood in Egypt, but now he was learning the priesthood of Yah Almighty from Yithro. So now this was a practical experience that Moshe was given to his father-in-law, his experience with Elohim. So it was a great rejoicing between the two of them, exchanging this information.
And Yithro said, blessed be Yahweh, who hath delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians, and out of the hand of Pharaoh, who hath delivered the people from under the hand of the Egyptians.
And the thing about, a thought just came to me, I don't want to forget it. The thing about youth, when you get to, okay, you live in your parents' house, but when you hit teenage years, especially like, let's say from 18, you know, going on in your 30s, you're going to experience some stuff in your life that is going to make or break you. You have to use your spiritual foundation to survive these times. You're going to college, you're finishing high school, all that is nice and dandy. But there's reality out there that is going to hit you spiritually, that is going to make or break you. So get close to the Creator. Outside of all of those things, get close to the Creator. You're going to meet some crazy people in college that do some crazy things that you never thought could have been done. And they do it without batting an eye. And you have to maintain your spirituality. You cannot let that environment affect you. You got to affect that environment. So that is some of the things that Yithro probably put on Moshe so that he can be strong enough to deal with the children of Israel.
Now I know that Yahweh is greater than all gods.
It was theory before, now it's practical from Moshe's experience.
Yea, for that they dealt proudly against them.
And this is what you're going to say when you pass certain tests at those young ages. Do you know that a man, they say a man is not fully developed and mature until he's 40? All them other previous years was just preparation to get to where you are. And it helps you to get to where you are. 40. Women are developed way before that. But as a man, 40. So he's saying, now he knows from practical experience that Jehovah is greater than all the other deities that exist. From that practical experience. And you will know that. Remember when Yaakov left his father's house, he said, he gave a list, if you do this for me, that for me, then I'll worship you. And the Most High made him worship him with some serious tests.
That's right.
And those tests, they're going to, every time something happens, just know it's a test. Okay, this is what I do during this. And just don't panic. Just apply the principles that will be given to you, and once you're alive, you can survive it. 12.
And Yithro, Moses' father-in-law, took a burnt offering and sacrifices for Elohim.
Culture.
And Aharon came, and all the elders of Israel, to eat bread with Moses, father-in-law, before Elohim.
Family reunion.
And it came to pass on the morrow that Moses sat to judge the people. And the people stood about Moses from morning unto the evening.
And this is showing us that Moshe was still learning. He did not know how to delegate duties. He was a close one to Elohim, but he did not know how to transfer that onto the people. So that people can later learn. And anything that you do, you have to have people that you're training to do it after you. That's how the knowledge continues in the family, in the nation. That's how people do it. A mechanic always has a little boy with him, you know. I could remember years ago in Guyana seeing an elderly woman walking around the neighborhood just picking up, people from the United States, you would say, oh, she's just picking up grass, but she was collecting herb because, you know, she's probably making medicine or whatever. And she had a little girl with her. That little girl is learning every single plant that she's dealing with. That's how it's transferring from one generation to the next. So, this is Moshe not knowing how to delegate duties. And any leader knows that's one of the good things about leadership. You can delegate duties. And by you doing so, you're training. There's nothing better than a hands-on experience. These jobs, these jobs out here, how many years of experience do you have? I'm a teenager, where am I going to get experience from? And they don't want to hire you because you don't have experience. Stupidness. By them taking you on the apprenticeship, that is where you learn and you get experience. What is wrong with these people? So Moshe, he's going to now learn from Yithro. And remember, we look at all the laws of Hammurabi, etc. Yithro is exposed to these things. So he knows about codified law, and he's about to teach it to Moshe.
And when Moses' father-in-law saw all that he did to the people, he said, what is this thing that thou doest to the people?
Not to yourself, but to the people. Because the service you're rendering to these people is not going to be full because you're going to be tired. You're not going to be focused.
Why sittest thou thyself alone, and all the people stand about thee from morning until evening? And Moses said unto his father-in-law, because the people come unto me to inquire of Elohim, and when they have a matter, it cometh unto me. And I judge between a man and his neighbor, and I make them know the statutes of Elohim and his laws.
And the thing about it is that even as parents or adults, you have younger people under you, you have to begin to trust them. And not just trusting them, but you have to trust that your teachings are good enough for them to get it. And that is a problem many times with many leaders, that they don't trust the people with them to carry on what they're teaching. One of the greatest men in my book in this time was Marcus Garvey, my fellow Caribbean brother. But Marcus Garvey had a problem. He didn't listen to people. He thought he could have done it by himself. You cannot be like that. You have to be able to Okay, the idea came through you, but you have to be able to feed it to other people so that they can understand and stand with you. And here, Moshe, he feels that he has to take his burden alone. But he does not, and his father-in-law is going to tell him that.
And Moses' father-in-law said unto him, the thing that thou doest is not good. Thou wilt surely wear away both you and this people that is with thee, for the thing is too heavy for thee. Thou art not able to perform it thyself alone.
Right. You know, a person, I think is a psychiatrist. Do you know the psychiatrist has a psychiatrist?
That's right.
Because after that person comes and they throws their energy, it's energy. They throw their energy at you and you absorb it. You're taking that around. You now have to cast that off.
Right.
A person that does like massages and stuff, they have an instrument that they hit their hands on to pass that energy out of their bodies. Because you're drawing the negativity out of the people when you massage them. All of those knots in your body and pains, they're saying, I learned from my chiropractor.
Yes, indeed.
She told me that it's stress bound up in those muscles.
Right.
Remember I was speaking about your body connected to certain spiritual aspects? Stress, inanimate things, problems, whatever, they come into your body and become those pains. Many times you see an old person walking around like this, you got to check their life. They need somebody to counsel them, massage them so that they can actually, get back in alignment. So Moshe's father-in-law is telling him, this is not good. You taking all of the problems of Israel? This person a long line come up to Moshe. He saw my dog and he kicked my dog. That's the problem they waited hours for.
Oh yeah.
Foolishness. But Moshe now got to take his time, and his father-in-law saying it's not good. You got to defy this responsibility.
Hearken now unto my voice.
Superior nation knowledge.
I will give thee counsel, and Elohim be with thee. Be thou for the people before Elohim, and bring thou the causes unto Elohim.
So you see, he is learning knowledge from a superior nation in that aspect of existence. When we come into nations, we have to learn from those nations the things that are right, discard the things that are evil, you see, and add it to our quiver so that we can use it for our benefit. That's how life is. I love to sit and listen to people because I never thought about that. Because remember, my brain is just a receiver. It's just so much my brain can receive. But you're receiving as well. So when you receive and you speak, I learn and you learn from me as well. That's how the world goes, give and take. Ready?
And thou shalt teach them the statutes and the laws, and shalt show them the way wherein they must walk, and the work that they must do. Moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men.
Listen to the characteristic. Able men,
such as fear Elohim, men of truth, hating unjust gain, and place such over them to be rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, and rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens.
When I grew up, or when I was growing up rather, the reality I was exposed to, it was African Guyanese of a certain caliber. These people were honest. They loved to be right in terms of their lifestyle. They loved to be decent. That is what I was exposed to. So in my schooling and as well in my social family life, our family gatherings were very decent. So I could have been a better person. But of course, the environment, many times, you become exposed to can affect you negatively. But there are people like this. They fear Elohim. Able men, when we look at able men, it means this is one of the things that is missing in the fight for our freedom. Able men, people that are healthy.
Right.
Because Moshe, when he made transition, he was 120, he climbed the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
The Most High just took him because he had to take him, but he was not unhealthy.
Right.
He didn't go by Alzheimer's.
Right.
That was not even a word.
Right.
So you have to take care of yourself physically. Man and woman and child. Well, children do it naturally, but take care of yourself. Exercise. Your health begins in the kitchen. Eat right. Okay? Fear Elohim. Have that respect in your doings, that you honor, respect, men of truth. Hating on just gain, don't take bribery and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the people that should rule the nation of Israel.
Okay.
It says, not Donald Trump, it says. I mean, just let me. Am I the only one with eyes? Are we the only one with eyes? Look what this person is doing.
Mm-hmm.
He just waited a day and then fired the people that from his party that spoke against him.
Rigor.
All of that is incorrect. If it was Obama, he would have been gone already.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I don't know how these people are not seeing. It has to be the Most High setting them up for
Absolutely.
something.
Absolutely.
Setting them up.
It says.
And let them judge the people at all seasons.
Mhm.
And it shall be that every great matter they shall bring unto thee, but every small matter they shall judge themselves. So shall they make it easier for thee, and bear the burden with thee.
Right, so before you go on, let me show you. All right. Now, this is not a perfection, but just to give you an understanding of, he's saying that the hard matters you deal with, and the easy matters you give to these other people. So in today's situation, we see we have the legislative, executive, and the judicial. Now, this is not the important arm of the U.S. government. They carry out the laws. But these men here that spend their lives in Congress, etc., we don't even go to elect these people in. We don't even worry with those elections. Do you? For the legislative, we don't worry with, but these are the brutes that you got to look at. They make the laws. These are the ones. And he just carries them on. And these ones here, they interpret the laws and then they got the police force to enforce it or whatever. But these are the ones here.
Those are the ones you need to get out.
These are the ones. Because when you look at some of these people, it's ridiculous. Their life and what they believe in, and it's ridiculous. So we know that in ancient days, basically, Moshe, he was the Supreme Court. All right? And they speak about the appeals court. If they don't like it at low court, they can appeal it. And, Moshe would then hear it. I didn't like how it was heard here, and then Moshe would actually hear it. That's how it actually goes. And all of this is, like here, it says there are 9 justices, a chief justice sits in the middle and the head of the judicial branch. 8 associate judges. This is how they do it in this day and time. But of course, in ancient days, it will be Moshe, and those are the people that he would have elected. It says.
If thou shalt do this thing, and Elohim command thee so, then thou shalt be able to endure, and all this people also shall go to their place in peace.
Now, there in the Tanakh, there are certain small portions that we miss. This is one of the small portions we miss. He's telling Moshe, if you carry out these rulings, give responsibility to others, it therefore means that those cases will be better tried. In other words, everybody's alert, no one is tired, etc. They're capable, and an Israelite can go home in peace. They feel comfortable that justice was served.
Right.
But we have cases in our history, even present day, where this did not happen. Now I'll try to show a video. I don't know if it's gonna work because of our internet, but we'll see. It's a case of a man not satisfied with the ruling that the court had given. But what happened? This man, he killed like 3 women they found, and he had kept their bodies as trophies. And the father was in the court, and when the sentencing was going on or whatever, the man was smirking. And the father was upset. And he leaped. That man flew to the man's throat to try to kill him himself. There was another case of the father again. The man killed his daughter this time, or his son this time, and he pled insanity. And the father got up and he was, shouting how to take him out of court because he was pleading insanity. It shows you that they were not satisfied with the ruling. He said, "You were not insane then. When you shot him, he turned his back from you." It was really emotional. So here, this portion, it shows you that you have to, this is a duty to the people, that you have to let them go home in peace, because if they don't go home in peace, they can take matters in their own hands and go and try to kill each other, take justice in it. So you got to do this. It says.
So Moses hearkened to the voice of his father-in-law and did all that he had said.
He had that spirit to humble. Remember, this was his mentor. He was listening to him.
And Moses chose able men out of all Israel and made them heads over the people, rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of 50s, and rulers of 10s. And they judged the people at all seasons. The hard causes they brought unto Moses, but every small matter they judged themselves. And Moses let his father-in-law depart, and he went his way into his own land.
And every person that comes into your life, they got to leave something positive.
Right.
Yithro brought that to Moshe, brought his children, gave him this piece of advice and left. And Moshe implemented it. And remember I said, like, in our cultures, from experiences, from that experience, we have this instituted, that we have people that can try cases. Not one person alone, because one person can be corrupt. One person can, that's my family, my brother, but a group of people, you stand a better chance for proper judgment. And when you look out in the jury box, you just don't see one gender or one ethnicity, but it's mixed, so that a fairer outcome supposed to occur. But we know that's not the case in this country. Kamshi, we're in the 19th chapter.
In the 3rd month, after the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai.
On the Sinai Peninsula, it's arid. It's a desert, as Zaquen was saying. It's crazy. The heat, I can remember when we were about to go over to the Dead Sea, was named this Eilat. I had never felt heat like that. I'm from the Caribbean. Sometimes you stand by a truck's engine and you feel that blast of heat. I thought I was by the bus's engine, but the breeze was blowing hot. So imagine just walking through this situation. Coach Yatniel was telling you, I think last week, about, like when the bus AC went out, whatever. Look. I mean, if I was in the wilderness, I might have murmured. People we say, oh, they were so wicked and evil, go in their conditions. Right. It was not easy. It was not. So here we are in the Sinai Peninsula. Now it really, and so it begins. Let's see what happens.
And when they were departed from Rephidim and were come to the wilderness of Sinai, they encamped in the wilderness, and there Israel encamped before the mount.
You're about to meet the Most High,
And Moses went up unto Elohim, and Jehovah called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, Ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians.
Remember experience.
How I bore you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself.
Right, so it's an experience. You saw how this happened, so you're going to know this is me, this is what I can do, this is my ability. And he uses the example of eagle's wings. Now, many times people allude to an eagle, teaching the young to fly, but you can also look at it from the standpoint of the eagle, they say, the eagle flies alone. The eagle, one of the examples that impressed me about the eagle is that most times when it's raining, all the birds go and hide for shelter. You know what the eagle does? He flies above the rain clouds. I was like, what? He just goes higher, above the storm. That's an eagle. So when the Most High said he took you on eagle's wings, he's speaking about his strength, his ability. They're saying the eagle, his eyesight is 5 to 6 times better than any human being. So therefore, the Most High could have seen where he was taking you. Was no guessing. So you were taking care of. Basically, it was the Most High saying. That's why he said he took you on eagle's wings, strength and surety.
Now therefore, if ye will hearken unto my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be mine own treasure from among all peoples, for all the earth is mine. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of Kohanim, and a holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel.
When you think about a treasure, you think about something precious, something you took a while to acquire, and something that you really want to hold on to, you value. So this is how the Most High sees us, and this is how we should see ourselves. Right. We should just not be acting haphazardly. Like today we see a lot of challenges. This week was what, a broom challenge?
Oh my goodness.
This is Ben-Ami one time said it's just what's that?
Kasilut.
It is just amazing how they can still deceive you. It's amazing. Everything, everybody on their phone showing stuff, but I would like, especially for the youth, like a chastity challenge.
Right.
For the men and the women. I am going to keep myself until marriage. They don't say stuff like that.
Right.
For the young boys, let's ravage as many women as possible.
That's the American way.
But in ancient days, those things, this is a treasure the Most High is speaking of. We're not like these nations. We're not like these nations. We have to know, if you're a married man, okay, we practice polygyny, whatever, and this is the way we do it.
Right.
Standards, that's our culture. Because remember, these habits you're cultivating is going to affect the next generation. You don't want your children to be like that. Because many fathers, they lock their daughters up because they know that there are many of them out there. They don't want their daughter to meet a man like them. It's serious. So you got to be a treasure, precious. This is what the Most High is saying. This is the level. These are the levels. Remember, I spoke about being a hypocrite. I don't want to be a hypocrite. I don't want to be standing here saying all of these things and I'm doing the opposite. What is that? I'm going to be held to a higher standard. So let us strive to do what is right and pleasing in Yah. We have not tried it. Let's try it to see the outcome. We have not given the Most High the opportunity to do what He said He would do for us because we're not doing our part.
Trying for good. That's right.
And Moses came and called for the elders of the people, and set before them all these words which Jehovah commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, all that Jehovah has spoken we will do. And Moses reported the words of the people unto Yah.
And probably at that moment they meant it because we are people of moment. At this time I feel nice.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
You come into the building, in churches they do certain movements. They feel the spirit, they want to do good, but then reality is waiting for you outside.
That's right.
And all the people answered together and said, all that Jehovah hath spoken we will do. And Moses reported the words of the people unto Yah. And Jehovah said unto Moses, lo, I come unto thee in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee, and may also believe thee forever. And Moses told the words of the people unto Jehovah.
This is the way he's coming. He said he's going to come in thick darkness to speak the words, let them hear it, so that they can understand and fear you.
And Yahweh said unto Moses, Go unto the people and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their garments.
Period of separation.
And be ready against the third day. For the third day Yahweh will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai. And thou shalt set bounds unto the people round about, saying, Take heed to yourselves, lest ye go, that ye go not up into the mount, or touch the border of it. Whosoever toucheth the mount shall be surely put to death. No hand shall touch him, but he shall surely be stoned, or shot through, whether it be beast or man. It shall not live. When the ram's horn soundeth long, they shall come up to the mount.
Like for me, I heard that. I wouldn't want to touch a monk. I would be looking at the monk from binoculars. I don't want to mess with that border. It says you shall not touch him. If he comes and violates, don't even touch him. Shoot him from far. That's what the Most High is saying. It's a terrible death. So the people still, Israel. Some of us, we try to do things and get away with it. So Moshe believed them, but Yah did not, it says.
And Moses went down from the mount unto the people and sanctified the people, and they washed their garments. And he said unto the people, Be ready against the third day. Come not near a woman.
Right. Keep yourself separate so that you can meet the Most High.
And it came to pass on the third day, when it was morning, that there were thunders and lightnings and a thick cloud upon the mount, and the voice of a horn exceeding loud, and all the people that were in the camp trembled.
It's something about thunder and lightning and about a mountain. I heard it's terrible. I don't know if it's like a transmitter of electricity and energy, but it's louder than you would hear. Like I think it was last week when we had those storms, and I work outside, and when I pulled up to the house, the lady was like, you don't have to do this today. We could reschedule. And I'm saying, no, I need this money. So I stayed out there, but it was terrible. It was raining elephants and giraffes. And the thunder and the lightning was, then certain areas, tornadoes came down, ripped trees up. So this is the power of the Most High. He came to us in this manner, and we were very afraid.
And Moses brought forth the people out of camp to meet Elohim. And they stood at the nether part of the mount. Now, Mount Sinai was altogether on smoke, because Jehovah descended upon it in fire. And the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mount quaked greatly.
So you got a volcano going on, an earthquake, a horn sound, and you don't see where it's coming from?
And lightning and thunder.
What? Terror. People are afraid. Children hiding under the mother's clothing. It's terrible.
And when the voice of the horn waxed louder and louder, Moses spoke, and Elohim answered him by a voice.
You see, there's a chain of events many times for people that I don't understand. So you have this man Moshe going up into this situation that you're afraid of. He just walked up, stood there, speaking with the Most High, and you're going to later disrespect him. It's... I don't understand this.
And Yahweh came down upon Mount Sinai to the top of the mount. And Yahweh called Moses to the top of the mount, and Moses went up. And Yahweh said unto Moses, Go down, charge the people lest they break through unto Yahweh to gaze, and many of them perish. And let the Kohanim also that come near to Yahweh sanctify themselves, lest Yahweh break forth upon them. And Moses said unto Yahweh, The people cannot come up to Mount Sinai, for thou dischargest, saying, Set bounds about the mount, and sanctify it.
He was naive about Israel at that time.
And Yahweh said unto him, Go, get thee down, and thou shalt come up, thou and Aharon with thee. But let not the Kohanim and the people break through to come up unto Yahweh, lest he break forth upon them. So Moses went down unto the people and told them.
So, some of us feel we got to see everything. You don't. I had to realize that. You don't have to see everything.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain things that you don't need to see. And this is one of the times you don't need to see that. And be disciplined enough to not want to see everything. And that's a whole other area of culture. If it does not concern you, leave it alone. 20.
And Elohim spoke all these words, saying, I am Jehovah, thy power, who brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Now, in this first law, the Mosai is actually introducing himself. It's me, Yah. This is not a God of this, that, and the other. Historically, from our experience, I am that God that just brought you out of Egypt.
Right.
So, if you're worshiping any other God, you got to run down, okay, who are you?
Right.
Where do I know you from? Were you here when this?
What did you do?
You know, historically, how do you relate to me?
That's right. Teach.
That is how you learn who your God is, historically. That's why the Mosai said for the other nations, he let the stones and the sun and moon and stars for them to worship. But for you, he said, you worship me.
That's right.
Here, the Mosai is also saying that there are other gods. We got to understand what God is, because this is English.
That's right.
But here in the Hebrew it says El or Elohim. He's saying there are other forces. The person of a simple mind would think that those forces are separate. But when we say Yah Elohim, we understand he controls all those forces.
Right.
That Elohim is a description of him. He's Yah the Elohim of all of those powers, those forces. Nothing that happens in existence that Yah did not make it happen. He had to think it for it to come into existence for it to happen. So he's saying, I am that Yah.
Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee a graven image, nor any manner of likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down unto them, nor serve them, for I, Jehovah, thy power, am a jealous power, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto the 1,000th generation of them that love me and keep my commandments.
So Yah laid out certain realms. He says in the heaven above, if it's the heaven above, that's everything in the universe basically.
That's right.
Because here we're standing and we're looking out in the universe. As this planet moves, we're exposed just a little inkling of the universe, because we are just in the galaxy of the Milky Way. But when you look, there's like the universe, it says endless, always, you know, extending. You say if you like put certain lights out there, it starts to bend. That's how deep the universe is. And in the heavens above and the earth beneath, where we are in the waters beneath the earth, all realms of existence, you cannot take anything in those realms and make anything to look like Yah. He is not a being with form anyway. Just how that's him. He has no form. He said, you shall not bow down to them nor serve them, you know, do things culturally attached to them. And that is what our people don't understand. Oh, we understand this how Valentine's begin, but today is all about love. Culturally, this is what the Mosai is saying. Attached to that God is a culture. There's a behavior that you cannot do. I love my loved ones every day. I don't need a day to run and buy roses, fake roses, chocolate that's going to rot their teeth. Stuff like that. Teddy bears that are going to gather dirt and coronavirus and stuff like that. You can show them love all the ways. And the Mosai said he's jealous. He's going to visit the iniquity on the fathers, on the children, onto the third and fourth generation of those that hate him. So you got generational hate going on.
That's right.
And the Mosai is going to punish you for that. But showing mercy on the 1,000th generation, they're going to love him and keep his commandments. These are the laws of the Creator.
Thou shalt not take the name of Jehovah thy power in vain, for Jehovah will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain.
When we talk about that word in vain, Slika, stop speaking. When we speak about holding the name, calling the name of Yah in vain, if someone keeps calling you, and you come running, and they say, I just joking. I just joking. You get like, so when you call the name of Yah, when you invoke that name into the universe, the Most High responds. So you could not or should not be in a situation that is a folly. This is what the Mosai is saying, and just calling his name.
Teach.
You can't be in the back alley playing dice,
Right.
calling the name of Yah. You can't do that. Yah's name is sacred. Even I practice when I'm speaking to a person that does not know about the Creator. I don't call the Mosai's name. Because I don't know that person demeanor, they can be disrespectful. I don't want to be in their presence if they become disrespectful with Yah's name. So the Mosai is saying, keep his name sacred. So when you know you call him as like a trump, that's like a big weapon. When you pull this out, you know it's on. So he said, preserve his name. 7, or the next law.
Remember the Shabbat day to keep it holy.
So you got to remember it, and then you got to keep it separate from the other days.
6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work.
This is a part of the law that we forget.
Right.
The part of the Shabbat law is that you should be working. Because if you're not working, how are you going to really enjoy the Shabbat?
Right.
Because like every day is a Shabbat for you anyway. So 6 days you shall labor, this is a law, and do all thy work. I mean, when Shabbat comes in, I get groggy. You start like slowing down. Still from in the afternoon, you start to not, because your body is already looking forward to that rest and relaxation. So 6 days thou shalt labor and do all thy work. This is a part of the law.
Like the 7 days of Shabbat unto Yahweh thy power. In it thou shalt not do any manner of work. Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy strangers that is within thy gate.
Shut down everything.
Right.
I look at a Hebrew sitcom, Serugim is the name of it. You can check it out. I think it's on Prime TV. But I look at it, to learn the language and so on. But I also am learning their understanding of the culture. These two ladies, they were best friends, and they fell out because one girl, she forgot to turn off the fridge light on the Shabbat. That's how they keep the Shabbat so strict that the fridge light should not be on. You understand? So I'm just showing you. You understand? There is levels to this. So just showing you how people, observe the Shabbat. It says, for in 6 days.
For in 6 days Jehovah made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested on the 7th day. Wherefore Jehovah blessed the Shabbat day and hallowed it.
English makes it seem that this Almighty Creator got tired and is like, I need a rest. No. He ceased. That in that sense, the word Shabbat, the root, it means to cease.
Right.
He refrained from creating. So we understood that in creation, that was it.
Right.
The Most High created everything that will ever happen has already been created. It's just going to unfold as we live in our limitations of time. But the Most High already in the future is waiting. While he's in the present and he's in the past at the same time. That's the creator we serve. So when he says and he rested on the 7th day, in other words, he ceased creating on the 7th day. Or in that expanse of time that we refer to the 7th day. And as Israelites, we commemorate the Shabbat and to rest our bodies and as well as a sign between us, ourselves, and the Creator.
That's right.
I can remember when I was in the Lutheran church, because of the church my mother was part of. And you gotta go where your mother goes. But I was in confirmation classes. That's when you get the classes before you become a cannibal. I mean, eat the bread and drink the blood. I was in those classes, but the pastor, I admired him. He was a really nice man, nice family man, whatever. An Indian elder. But he's in the class, I don't know if I asked a question, because my grandfather already had made me read the Tanakh about that time, probably from front to back twice. So I asked him, I can't remember how the question came, but he admitted that the true Sabbath was on the 7th day. But on Yom Rishon, it's just they commemorate the resurrection. And that stuck with me. And that helped me, on path to my awakening. So they know it.
Right.
They say that you cannot see, like at least in Guyana, you cannot really visit the cardinals or whatever in the Catholic Church on Saturday, because those brutes are observing the Shabbat. You can see them. And they come down to you on Sunday. 11. Honor thy father.
Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which Jehovah thy power giveth thee.
Right.
I had some videos, but I'm noticing we have a problem with the signal, so I'm not going to try it. But to show you cases, in this land where children have killed their parents, brutally murdered their parents. It was a case of twin Israelite girls. You could go and check it out. Killed their mother brutally, and it started off by a simple argument, and they got into a crazy frenzy, and they killed their mother.
That's right.
There was a case of, I think it was a Hispanic or Asian girl. She slit her mother's throat.
Mm-hmm.
So how does it get to that stage?
Right.
That the child you brought into this world takes you out of this world.
Mm.
As Israelites, we have to teach our children that level of respect.
That's right.
You know, today children don't have that respect for the parents because the parents and them are peers.
Right.
You know, you look up, you and your parents in the same club, you know, all of that. I'm talking teenagers. That should not be. There should be a clear distinction between parent and child. Of course, you have an open understanding. We can communicate, but then you should not overstep your boundaries.
That's right.
I could remember my father beating me one time. That was all it took. I can remember one time, I think he was trying to teach me something, I wasn't getting it, and he just walked off in the hallway of the house, just hitting the wall. Doom, doom. I mean, it's like, that could be me. And you know, my father's beefy, so I didn't want that. Today, children don't have that fear. They could be right back, word for word. You have a bloody mouth. You know, I'm not saying brutalize them, but brutalize them. They should have that fear. I'm just saying. You look at any animal in creation, when they step out of bounds, the young step out of bounds, their parents punish them. Check it, the gorilla, the giraffe, the horse, all of them, they punish their young. So why these wise human beings feel that they can have their children just go off and do anything? It does not make sense. The brain of a child is not developed, I think, until 18 or 21.
Right.
The prefrontal cortex. So things like planning, decision making does not exist in you as yet.
Right.
There are things that you may see as no danger that is extremely dangerous.
Right, right.
So as parents, we're guiding you in a direction to avoid, because we went there, we tried it already.
Right.
It bruised us badly, and we don't want that to become part of your experience.
Right.
When we speak about experience and culture, we don't want it to be part of your experience.
That's right.
But Abby is a nice boy. If he wants to speak to you, let him come to the house.
Right.
Let him meet the family. Let's all sit at the table and talk.
That's right.
Because Abby knows what he used to do. It's a reality. So listen to your parents, youth. You have a fresh slate. You do not need to dirty it. Trust us. Listen to your parents. So the honor of parents is actually a standard of honoring society in the culture of the nation of Israel. And any authority you learn to honor from home.
That's right.
In the Caribbean, I think in the country areas here too, every elder was an auntie and uncle. Good morning, auntie. Good morning, uncle. Everybody don't know them. And they had a right to reprimand you.
That's right.
You can't do that to a child today. They would teach you combination of words you never knew existed. Honor thy father and thy mother.
Thou shalt not murder.
Right. In other words, killing someone, premeditated, all of these things. The Most High said, don't take another person's life like that.
Right.
Thou shalt not commit adultery.
When we think about adultery, I really lost that out of... Anyway, adultery in the nation of Israel, we understand it to be a man going with another man's wife. Okay? So, there are cases today that kind of conflict or confuse where some husbands might give you permission to do that, but it's still adultery that is again.
I was going to say Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I just wanted to say it's not just the husband messing with another man's wife, it's a wife messing with another man when she's married.
Right, she can be the aggressor. Just be a good runner, brothers.
She can be the adulteress.
She could be adulteress, total rabah. I was just thinking of the case of a man, right? So either party, the husband going with, the man going with a married woman and the married woman going with a man. Adultery. So, next law.
Thou shalt not steal.
When you look at the Hebrew word here, ganav, it's actually, simply put, don't carry away stuff. This is the only way you can steal. You got to carry it away from where it is. So the Most High says, do not do that. It does not belong to you. Work hard for your stuff. Yadadim Vakusha.
Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor.
You lie, and this is happening around the world, especially with the police force. They're convicting our brothers and sisters lying. Going to court, take the oath and everything, and they lie. Yes, he was there, and they're finding them planting evidence on people, etc. And it's like I was in a policeman's house, young Lavan, very good, you know. And I look at my surroundings. On his table, he had a few weapons, like 3 of them. And when you see a policeman, how many weapons do you see? How many guns? One. So they have other weapons on them, just in case they got to leave you with something. They say, well, you pulled the gun on me. This is the reality out there. Don't bear false witness against the neighbor. We as Israelites, we cannot do that. We cannot lie, put our people in trouble.
That's right.
We cannot do that. Be truthful. It can happen to you as well.
Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor.
When we think about the laws of the Creator, it's a serious responsibility. As a child, you're living in your parents' home. It's preparing you to be by yourself living these laws of Yah. It's preparing you to be able to get married. To be able to get married, you got to work, get money, however means, education, skill, whatever you did to get to that stage. The laws of the Creator, you got to live a certain life to be able to live the laws of the Creator, because coveting is a mental violation.
Right.
No one don't see you doing it. But you looking at a house, it's a nice house. How can I get this house from this person? You are not trying to get a house like that. You're trying to get that house.
Right.
Because as human beings, naturally, we have aspirations. I go into these homes on Lake Norman, and I see something, that's nice. I would like to have that.
Right.
And, how can I get that for myself? Not a person, but because they got cameras anyway, but it's not a reason. But try to get it, work towards it. You understand? So, you have to, as a child, I keep telling the youth, because they are fresh, anything that you want in this life, you can do it. You are at that stage. Education-wise, whatever, you are at that stage. Just follow these steps. And you would not have to covet nobody's house. You would not have to covet the neighbor's wife, his manservant, nothing, because you were able to get your own.
That's right.
That's how the law of the Creator found. It's not in isolation, like a mystery. You have to work towards it. That's what people, they teach these things in an abstract manner. Don't steal. Well, how should I not steal if I don't have? Because they're honest men and women that steal to feed their families. Because they're down on their luck, as people would say. So you have to prepare yourself in such a manner and create the family circumstance in such a manner that if one of you was down and out, you help them. That is law. You got to be able to help them so that they will not be in violation of these laws. It's a family effort.
It is.
And all the people perceived the thunderings and the lightnings and the voice of the horn and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they trembled and stood afar off.
They were afraid of Yah, but did not understand his principles.
Right.
Teach.
And they said unto Moses, Speak thou with us, and we will hear. But let not Elohim speak with us, lest we die. Moses said unto the people, Fear not, for Elohim is come to prove you, and that his fear may be before you, that ye sin not.
So Moshe was comfortable, he was good with Yah, but the people, because of their errors, when you're wrong, you're always guilty. I mean, like for me, if I'm driving, I hear a police car, I just pull over, let them pass.
Right.
But for another person,
Right.
I can remember we were going to our lands in Guyana. We took a Rastafarian. He was our mechanic at that time. We used to call him Bird. I don't know why they called him Bird. Probably he was high flying. I don't know. But Bird, we were crossing over the Linden Bridge. And Bird of course, he had his regular appendage hanging out of his mouth. And somebody passed and said, hey, Rastaman, the police are over the bridge. And shall I say that translate? Rastaman, the police are on the next side of the bridge. So instead of Bird trying to throw the thing away, he ensured he took the last pulley. It's so funny. But fear not. You are innocent.
Right.
You don't have nothing to worry about.
Right.
You can stand before. And this, for me personally, my aspirations outside of financial, whatever, this is what I'm striving for.
Right.
Deeply, really, I don't want to be a hypocrite before the Holy One of Israel. When I stand, when I walk, wherever I go, people see me, they could see that, in the Hebrew language, when the Moses spoke about teaching the nation of Israel, they used the word from the root Zahar, basically to illuminate them, make them light beings.
Yeah.
That you send for that light, people can see you and like, you're different. Me, I go into black brothers' homes, like, you're a Muslim? No, I'm Hebrew Israelite, bro. Like, I see him start to, I said, not like those ones. I'm not like those ones. So they should see the way you move, the way you act. They should see that decency in you. Decency has left the earth. Our people feel that you can't be decent anymore. But that was, look at our brothers and sisters just after the slave experience. Look at the Harlem Renaissance, how our brothers dressed. Look at pictures of Harlem every day.
That's right. Zoot suits.
Just looking clean as ever. What happened? The man came with a plan from the afros. I'll give you Jerry curls. I'll give you these jeans to wear instead of his suits. And it was a plan, all a plan. We got to fight against it. Let's be decent again.
That's right.
And the people stood afar off, but Moses drew near unto the thick darkness where Elohim was.
That's power.
And Jehovah said unto Moses, thus thou shalt say unto the children of Israel, ye yourselves have seen that I talked with you from heaven. Ye shall not make with me gods of silver or gods of gold. Ye shall not make unto you an altar of earth thou shalt make unto me, and shalt sacrifice thereon thy burnt offerings and thy peace offerings.
That's all he wants.
Thy sheep and thine oxen. In every place where I cause my name to be mentioned, I will come unto thee and bless thee.
Just think about it. If this Most High made everything in the universe, how can you take one of the things that he makes to be him? I mean, it's like common sense. He made everything, but you're going to take one of the things that he created to represent him. He said he's showing you that he's outside of the creation. He's above all of this. He says all you have to do is make an altar and offer your sacrifices.
And if thou make me an altar of stone, thou shalt not build it of hewn stones. For if thou lift up thy tool upon it, thou hast profaned it.
Because he's saying he wants natural pieces of stone, you put it together, stack it, and just make the altar.
That's
You know, sometimes we start making stuff. Oops.
Make it nice.
What's this? Oh, this looks like a god, and we start worshiping. Also, it represents the tool, the iron, many times represents war. So he doesn't want that energy on the altar. It's a thing of peace, it's natural from the environment.
Neither shalt thou go up by steps unto mine altar, that thy nakedness, be not uncovered thereon.
So we know the word Bimor, Bama, we know that the ancient cultures, they had this whole race thing. If you look at the Mayas and the Aztecs, how they used to do their sacrifice, used to go up on this high thing. Right, the Most High is saying don't do that. Especially, when you wear your robes, etc., people can look up and see your nakedness. He said don't make it. Just make it a natural level so that everyone can see you. We thank Yah for this beautiful launch. I hope my words were sufficient to make your understanding better, and I continue to plead with us. Let us do better, Israel. Let us strive to be the treasure of the Most High. Let nations want to come to us to see a difference. Right now, this planet is on the serious disease, plague. You see, in East Africa, I think it is, where the locusts are causing famine because they get up so much stuff. You see the coronavirus. People are trapped on a cruise ship, can't go nowhere in quarantine. That's not a life to have. These people, they said the coronavirus came from like bats. In China, there are videos of people eating bat soup.
Bat soup, that's right.
Give them the laws of Yah so that they can refrain from this behavior. Hallelujah.